The Guru Speaks. The Guru Speaks, Lloyd Smith.
Somehow, I have become a guru. Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, several years ago, people began emailing and calling me to ask for advice about their contest speeches. Several of them now call me their speech guru. I realized right away that I needed to increase my guru credibility. And the best way to do that would be to read the books and articles and blog posts that a lot of our past world champion public speakers, or championship public speakers have written. The main thing I learned from that research was that they have discovered how to make a living telling us obvious things. Have worthwhile content. Yeah. Engage your audience. Wow, I never thought of that. Have an attention-grabbing introduction. Something that draws the audience in, makes them want to hear the rest of your speech. Maybe something like the most outstanding speech introduction I heard during the 15 years that I coached high school to date. We were in a strange room at Gonzaga University for the Gonzaga Invitational in 1985, the last year I coached. It was a 9 a.m. round of senior division expository speaking. I called the first speaker to the front of the room, and he was standing close enough for me to touch because of the weird shape of the room. I said, "Anytime you're ready," and picked up my stopwatch. He looked down for a moment, looked up with a pleasant look on his face, and yelled, "Kirai!" and kicked out with his foot. I could see the bottom of his shoe coming right at my face. A second later, I was up against the back wall of the room, and the rest of the contestants were up and screaming too. I could hear what I thought was a 10-year-old girl screaming, and then I realized that was me. There was a rumbling in the hallway. The door burst open, and at least 25 people from the contests in the other rooms rushed in to deal with the emergency. The whole time, the kid who had started the thing was saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." It took over 15 minutes to clear the room out so that we could get the contest going again. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't even write the comments on the ballots. His speech was about the martial arts. The kick and scream were his attention-grabbing introduction. They sure were. I can still see that foot coming at my face 35 years later. The experts tell us that on the other end of the speech, we need to have an outstanding conclusion, something that makes the audience remember you and think about what they just experienced with your speech. Something like the best speech conclusion I heard during my years of coaching. It was a 9 p.m. round of novice division interpretive reading at the Davis High School Invitational, just a few blocks from here reading. The contestants were supposed to read a selection of prose or poetry from a manuscript and using only their voices transmit its meaning. No acting, props, or costumes. There were 4 girls and a boy in the round. One by one, the girls got up and did their programs. I was surprised at how good they were because it was the first tournament of the season and this was novice division. And then the boy got up. He was wearing a sport coat that was at least 3 sizes too big. His tie was weirdly knotted, and he was just radiating that he did not want to be standing there. He started reading, and he had a thin, reedy voice that just didn't support the drama that he was trying to convey. Toward the end of his program, he suddenly dropped his manuscript to his side, looked startled, and reached for his throat. It kind of fit what he was talking about. And I thought, oh, great, now I'm going to have to penalize him for acting. That's when he threw up. Well, it wasn't an act, obviously. The girls jumped up and ran screaming and gagging from the room, and the boy staggered out after them. As I sat there, I realized there had been nothing in my preparation to be a debate coach that had prepared me for that magical moment I had just experienced. I could see a custodian out in the hall looking in the direction the kids had all run. I went over and told him what had just happened. He explained to me very vividly that he was at the end of his shift and he just did not want to clean up that mess before he went home for the weekend. He said, I'm just going to lock that door and get out of here. And he did. I've always wondered what the teacher whose room that was thought when he or she opened that door Monday morning about 48 hours later. Not my school, not my problem. Right about now, some of you are probably wondering what I have in mind for my conclusion, especially those of you in these great seats right up front. You don't need to worry. I've just never learned to enjoy throwing up that much. So I'll leave you with some wisdom from the new rule. It's always better to throw up during your own speech than to have the audience throw up after they've heard you.